Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, ghouls, and ghosts. I'm Drew.
And I'm Amy.
And welcome to the Séance Parlor. Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Séance Parlor. We have some really fun things to talk about tonight. One of the probably the most paranormal hotspot in the world.
Yeah.
If we're talking about it. But before we dive into all that, Amy, do you know what today is?
I do not.
It's a special day. It's a really special day.
Do tell.
Today is World UFO Day.
No way.
Yeah, whether you're a skeptic, a believer, or someone in between, it's a day dedicated to one of humanity's oldest questions. Are we alone in the universe? And considering tonight we're talking about Skinwalker Ranch, I can't think of a more perfect episode to be doing on World UFO Day.
Yeah, what a coincidence.
So happy World UFO Day to you.
Happy World UFO Day to you.
I did not see a UFO today, but we are talking about something very spooky tonight, and there is an unbelievable thunderstorm happening outside right now, which is very cool. Sets the tone.
Yeah.
So before we get into the main story, let's catch up on what's been happening in the paranormal world this week. So first things first, fresh analysis of decades of sighting reports shows Western Pennsylvania remains one of the nation's busiest regions for reported UFO activity.
Wow.
Yeah, I did not know that. We have family in Pennsylvania, and who would have thought if we just spent a little more time there, we're probably going to see some UFOs. So the Kecksburg incident in 1965, if you're unfamiliar, they call this a smaller Roswell incident.
Okay.
So a bell-shaped flying anomaly crash landed in Kecksburg, Pennsylvania, and it was like military presence showed up. It was investigated. It was a big to-do.
Okay.
Now I did some digging on the Kecksburg incident. Now, while it's inspired some film and TV episodes, I think it was referenced in Disclosure Day, the new movie that came out. I do believe people think it's part of, and I could be not 100% on this, but I think like a Soviet satellite or something along the lines of that, I think is what they tested materials, and I think it came back as like non-alien. But at the time, it was like reported by tons of people. People saw it all outside of Pennsylvania. I believe like Detroit, people saw it in like the airspace above, and they were getting calls like crazy that something was coming in. So that kind of really like kicks off like the pillar. But Pennsylvania consistently ranks near the top nationally because reports span rural farmland.
Yep.
You know, we have family in like Amish country out there, suburbs, urban areas. It's not one isolated location. There's such a broad geography, so you get reports of all different kinds. Researchers can't explain why certain regions repeatedly produce reports. Possibilities include population density, military flight paths, geography, cultural awareness, or even one we hear in UFOs all the time, reporting bias. Somebody says they saw something, and then the phone starts ringing off the hook like, yeah, we saw it.
Yeah.
But the question that it makes me ask is, if hotspots are real, maybe Skinwalker Ranch or places like that aren't unique. Maybe simply they're the most intensely investigated. Are there more places out there like this?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that, there's a bunch of different locations around the world that are as paranormal as like a Skinwalker Ranch, because we're going to get into that tonight, and there are some crazy reports out of there. But what is interesting to think about is, do paranormal events, do anomalies, do these strange, unpredictable things happen in specific areas because of the geography, because of something drawing them to that area? Or is it sheer coincidence that, just a dense population happens to see them more often than not?
Yeah.
If you had unlimited funding, what hotspot besides Skinwalker Ranch are you trying to check out?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, Skinwalker Ranch is a pretty good one.
Skinwalker Ranch is a pretty good one. I feel like people don't talk about like like places like New Mexico and Arizona enough.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
very true.
Well, Roswell was New Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's just
Yeah.
like I think you get out into like that more like desert terrain,
Mm-hmm.
and I think like and I probably just areas with like less light pollution.
Yeah, of
You're
course.
probably
Right.
higher out, but like yeah, I think I'd want to go like to the Southwest.
Yeah. Or doesn't like Stonehenge have a lot of UFO reports as well?
I believe so.
I think that would be a
I
cool
also
one
believe
to
there's a
see.
theory that Stonehenge was created by
I
aliens.
think so.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I subscribe to those.
Yeah.
I don't know that they're true, but I just love the idea that like these crazy structures were all created by aliens.
I mean, if you think that they could produce crop circles, like why not?
Yeah, that's very true. Are crop circles a landing pattern or are they a message in the corn? We'll never know. Maybe we will. I don't know.
Maybe we will. Maybe we'll deep dive.
Maybe we'll deep dive.
Who knows?
But moving on, from UFO talk, I want to talk about a historic ghost ship investigation that happened recently.
Okay.
A recent overnight investigation aboard the historic SS City of Milwaukee has renewed interest in haunted ships and historically focused investigations. Unlike television ghost hunts built around jump scares, investigators emphasize documenting experiences while preserving the vessel's history. Ships create a unique environment: narrow passageways, unfamiliar sounds, machinery, isolation, and the knowledge that generations of people lived and sometimes died aboard these ships. Many investigators argue history is just as important as paranormal evidence. We talk about that a lot because understanding who lived there gives unexplained experiences greater context. I think when you visit some of these locations, diving into the history and just learning the past of a place is just as important as did we get paranormal evidence while we were there. More often than not, when you subscribe to these television series, YouTube channels, whatever it is where you're watching people really go deep dive and investigate the paranormal, they're historical locations. They're not always, and sometimes they are just a random house or, whatever. But like you start to learn about, why is it haunted? Why is there potentially poltergeist activity? Why is there potentially demonic activity? And it typically ties back to a greater history, that's pretty rich and interesting to explore. So, I think it's great that you're starting to see some investigation happen that is history and education driven and dives into that paranormal lens as well.
Yeah. I think too with a lot of these like haunted ships, I'm assuming a lot of them are like aircraft carriers and things like of that nature.
Sure.
So yeah, like you said, there's a lot of like emotion associated with that. A lot of death, a lot of sadness, a lot of triumph.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a lot of emotions. And I can see that being like place where there's more of residual hauntings.
Sure.
So I think like in that sense it is important to know the history of those locations, especially when you're investigating.
Totally. Could you imagine the residual haunts on like the remnants of the Titanic?
No.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unbelievable. Well, would you rather investigate a haunted ship, prison, asylum, hotel, or a battlefield?
Wow. Maybe hotel.
Yeah.
Maybe hotel 1, ship 2.
Ooh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, give me your power ranking. Give me a third. Give me your top 3.
All right. What was it again?
You got haunted ship, prison, asylum, hotel, or battlefield.
Okay. I'm saying hotel,
Okay.
ship. I think battlefield would be interesting. I don't think
Ooh.
we see a lot of those.
Yeah, that's true.
Prison, asylum.
Wow, asylum last.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think
I feel like
asylum
it's
might
kind
be
of
my
sad.
first.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think part of me as scared and as scared as I can get, I am so fascinated and I am so interested. And I think asylums, because of the point that you just made, very sad, very tragic histories, I think they are a high yield to evidence.
Yeah. I mean, there is a lot of like famous ones out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, are like top tier for investigating.
Rest in peace to the Poughkeepsie Asylum.
Yeah.
That's a sad story. I have been in there a handful of times. Allegedly. I have allegedly been in there a handful of times. And it was a very interesting place. But it is no more. I mean, I don't know what's left of it, but another large tragic fire, occurred recently. But that's interesting. Asylum last for you, asylum first for me. I think we're both hot on prison, though. I think we just both want to go to Eastern State Penitentiary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's make it happen. All right, last topic tonight, and this is a really fun one. A proposal has drawn attention for recognizing the legendary Loveland Frogman as Ohio's official cryptid. Legend dates back to the 1950s when witnesses reported small, frog-like humanoids standing upright near the Little Miami River outside Loveland, Ohio.
Oh my God, I love that.
Yeah, just an army of little frog people.
Yeah.
Reports describe 3 to 4 foot tall creatures with leathery skin, large eyes, and human-like posture. One famous story even claimed one held a wand that emitted sparks.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible. Like many cryptids, believers point to multiple independent sightings, while skeptics suggest escaped iguanas, large amphibians, misidentifications, or embellished folklore. Embellished folklore is going to be a never for me, dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will tell you, one time when I was doing volunteer work, like through school, like we had to do it, and we had to do like a side of the road cleanup.
Yes.
So
yes.
we were walking like up and down the road. I mean, this is like a main road. I won't say which one it is, but there was a dead iguana on the side of the road.
Excuse me.
Yeah,
Were you local?
Yeah.
This was someone's pet.
An escaped iguana.
This had to be someone's pet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He definitely like got hit by a car, or maybe just did not survive out in the wild.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
Wow.
I have seen an escaped iguana.
Yeah. So I mean, it definitely could have been. There is legitimacy to that claim. Yeah. So I think that's wonderful. And listen, Ohio, make it happen.
Yeah.
Stop talking about it and be about it. The Loveland Frog should be the official cryptid of Ohio.
That's the cutest thing I've ever heard.
We're talking about 3 to 4 foot frogs wielding wands. You get me a hoodie, get me a mug. I want all the merch. Send me stickers, Ohio. Yeah. I'm all about it. So I think I know the answer to this, but if New York had an official cryptid, would you choose Champ,
Ooh.
Adirondack Bigfoot, or is there something else? Is there something else out in that wheelhouse that you would go after?
I'm gonna say Adirondack Bigfoot because I feel like Champ should belong to Vermont.
Ooh, hot take.
Yeah,
I
don't
don't
know
disagree.
if they have another one, so I feel like they could have Champ, or he could be, like a dual citizen.
Yeah,
you know. But,
I would allow it. I don't know what authority I have on that, but I allow it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Vermont should have Champ. I think you made a great point, though, is that we need to know the state cryptids. I think what we need in here in the studio, we need a map of the United States.
Yeah.
And I think we need the state cryptid listed on all of them. And then if any of them don't have one, we start dialing.
Yeah.
Like we're campaigning for recognize a cryptid.
Yeah.
Everybody's got a flag. Every team's got a mascot. Every state needs a cryptid. But I agree with you. I think Adirondack Bigfoot for us 100%. I mean, go up to Whitehall and tell me Bigfoot is not the cryptid of New York State.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. They have a festival, for Pete's sake. On that note, though, tonight we have talked about UFO hotspots, we've talked about haunted locations, and we've talked about cryptids. And tonight's topic is one of the only places where people claim all three exist together. Tonight, this is Skinwalker Ranch.
A family moved into a quiet ranch in Utah, expecting wide open skies, cattle, and a peaceful life. Instead, they report something watching them from the trees. Animals are mutilated under impossible circumstances. Strange lights appear overhead. Objects move without explanation. And eventually, a group of scientists arrive to investigate questions that sound impossible. What is happening on this piece of land? Welcome to Skinwalker Ranch.
Oh, I love it. I love it. There's a little bit of everything that I hold near and dear to my heart in tonight's episode. We've been brushing up. We've been watching some Skinwalker Ranch. I love it. Every week we're researching one of these topics and we're just spending time consuming that place and really trying to get as much knowledge so we can bring it to all of you about these places. And I mean, I wouldn't say you ever get like burnt out, but sometimes like you're like, okay, I've heard the same information. I over and over. Everything I've consumed, I learned something new. Yeah. There's just so much goes on at this place. There's it's so insane.
Much. Yeah. You could do like a whole series.
You could run a Skinwalker Ranch podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, because it's still like developing.
Right.
It's constantly going on. What Brandon Fugel and those folks are still continuing to do day after day. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy stuff. But I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. Take us on a journey.
Right.
Tell us where we're at.
Okay. So I figured we'd start with like, what is a skinwalker?
Ooh, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So skinwalkers are a large part of Navajo culture.
Okay.
According to some legends, skinwalkers were once healers or medicine men that were corrupted by their power.
Oh.
And they turned evil.
Oh.
Yeah. So in Navajo culture, when someone is gonna like study to be a medicine man, they're learning, they believe that you have to learn the powers of good and evil and that you can use both of those to.
That's so Jedi.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah.
It is. It's very Jedi. So what they say is that those who learn and use those spiritual forces for good to help people, to heal people, they're the ones that become medicine men. But the people that let the power corrupt them and they use it for evil, they become witches.
Oh.
That's the term that they use.
Yeah, okay.
So not all witches are skinwalkers, but all skinwalkers are witches.
Got it. Okay. So it is like not just something that happens when you, I'm going to make another Star Wars, right? When you turn to the dark side.
Correct.
But it is like an even deeper delve into what I'm guessing would just be like black magic or like occult magic.
Yeah. So to become a skinwalker, you have to go through like sort of an initiation where you have to kill a close family member.
Yuck.
But that is how you obtain your powers and your ability to shape shift, which is what skinwalkers are famous for.
Yes, absolutely.
But they also have other powers too, which is they can like impose their will upon you, so they can make you do whatever.
Really? I did not know that.
Apparently they can read minds, cause illness or death, destroy property. They could control nocturnal animals.
Oh, cool.
And they can call upon spirits of the dead and reanimate corpses.
No way. That's freaky.
Yeah. So I think one of the common misconceptions about skinwalkers is that they're spirits.
Right. Yeah, I think in popular culture today, that is commonly a misconception that we see regularly, is that a skinwalker is a demonic spirit. But a skinwalker isn't a demonic spirit. A skinwalker is like someone has chosen the path of a skinwalker.
Right.
Yeah.
You become corrupted by power, and then once you're there, you choose to become a skinwalker.
Wow.
Yeah. So they're able to take the form of various animals. Most commonly would be coyotes, wolves, and bears. I mean, those are animals that are most commonly found in that part of the U.S., which is the Midwest. We're talking about Utah here. And they wear the skins of the animals that they transform into. Hmm.
Oh, I read something interesting too that said because of that, it became very, very taboo for like the Navajo to wear animal pelts or like headdresses from the sheds of animals and things like that because of how prevalent skinwalkers were in their lore and in
Hmm.
their culture.
Yeah, it was specifically those like predatory animals was
Okay.
taboo to like wear a wolf pelt
Okay.
or
Gotcha.
yeah, something that they would turn into. Also, some skinwalkers would wear like animal antlers or skulls, and that would help them like gain more power.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting. Well,
Mm-hmm.
almost like a like
Not
an
like
art
a
yeah,
token,
like an
but
arcane
yeah.
focus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Very Dungeons and
Yeah.
Dragons. I'm sorry, everyone.
And also, they can go into like a human form and an animal form. It's said that
Right.
when they're in their human form, their eyes are animal-like, but when
Yes.
they're in their animal form, their eyes are human-like.
Yes, which is like a way of if you yeah, if
Identifying,
you're in
yeah.
the know, if you if you're a Navajo
Hmm.
tribe member, it's an identifier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they say like typically by day they would walk among the people, and at night is when they would transform into
Oh,
animals.
think about that. You're
Hmm.
at you're at a gathering, you're at a feast, you're just at, maybe like a bonfire
Hmm.
and prowling the crowd around you is a skinwalker in human form.
Hmm. But they do say though that they do like tend to walk around like naked or wear like tattered clothing and like beads and stuff.
Yeah.
So
Tattered clothing to me is very werewolf,
yeah.
right? And you
Hmm.
kind of get that vibe because I think they say like in like commonly like a wolf is like a skinwalker animal form, like
Hmm.
a large wolf, but they say it'll walk around on its hind legs,
Yeah.
which that's very
Right,
werewolf.
like behaving abnormally.
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Ugh.
Yeah, and they say that they can often knock on your windows
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
make
yeah,
like scraping noises.
yeah. Ugh.
Yucky.
They mimic too. Yeah,
Hmm.
that like you'll hear like the voices of like a spouse or
Right.
children or loved ones, but they're
Hmm.
just luring you. They're
Yeah.
luring you out.
Hmm. Yeah, so that's what skinwalkers are. So,
And I think it's really important to just like take a minute to note that skinwalkers are part of a living cultural tradition.
correct.
This isn't a movie monster. This isn't like some kind of thought up like creature to scare the local people. Like a skinwalker is a cultural tradition
Hmm.
of the Navajo
Right.
people. And it's not just the Navajo. When I listened to like a very long form conversation with Brandon Fugel, who has
Hmm.
done like a lot of research, and then also the folks at Astonishing Legends, who heroes of ours. I mean, I listen to their shows
Yeah.
all the time. They're such a well researched show,
Yeah.
and they talk a lot. Like they kind of went into like you hear like the exact representation and idea of a skinwalker
Hmm.
in Russian folklore, in many different Native American tribes. It is, I think, Viking folklore had like a skinwalker entity, and they're called
Hmm.
different things, but almost the exact same.
Yeah.
Like not a demon, not a spirit, but
Hmm.
like an occult magic, a black magic,
Yeah.
like a dark path that led someone to be
Hmm.
corrupted into taking an animal form and using those powers
Yeah.
for bad.
I mean, I guess that's not so like far-fetched because if you think about it, like before, like the continents like split up, like
Pangea.
right, like there were people on Pangea and they were all like indigenous people. So I'm sure at some point they all had like a shared culture
Were
that
there?
ended up
I'm
splitting.
gonna look stupid on the internet for a second.
Or I'm gonna look very stupid.
We're in territory that we do not know about. Um, were there people when it was Pangea?
Maybe there weren't.
I don't know.
Maybe I'm making it up.
Can we? You know what? We're both sitting here with technology in our laps. Were there people on Pangea? Survey says no people lived on Pangea.
All right. Maybe we can cut that.
We are not cutting it. Ooh. I don't want to take too much time on this, but were there dinosaurs on Pangea? Yes.
So.
Dinosaurs lived on Pangea.
Okay.
Dinosaurs first evolved during the Triassic period about 245 million years ago when all the continents were combined into a single massive supercontinent.
Mm-hmm.
There's your dinosaur fact for the day.
Yeah.
But back to skinwalkers.
There you go.
But yeah, I mean, you see them all over culture. You see them all over culture. We were specifically talking about like the Navajo story and folklore and legend of the skin. I don't even want to say folklore, like the cultural legend of the skinwalker. But yeah, I mean, we see these pop up in all walks of life.
Yes. Not every single Native American tribe does have skinwalkers as part of their culture. We'll see that as we have our Navajo people and our Ute. That's kind of where our story begins a little bit here when we're talking about the ranch itself. Lays on about 500 acres of land in the Uinta Basin in Utah. It's about 400 miles north of the Navajo Nation, and it was right on the edge of Ute territory, which was another Native American tribe. The two did not get along. Often when they met, it ended in conflict.
Territorial disputes.
Yeah. The Ute were known to abduct Navajo people and sell them into the slave trade down in New Mexico.
That's no good.
Yeah. So when the Civil War started and broke out, the Ute were kind of recruited by a military campaign led by Kit Carson. Okay. And they joined forces against the Navajo and forced them out of their land.
Wow.
So for all you history buffs out there, this would have been known as the Long Walk of the Navajo, where they were forced to march to a reservation all the way in Fort Sumner, New Mexico.
Wow. How terrible is that?
Yeah.
And I mean, that's one of the things that we're going to talk about is just tragedy on the land. Did it lead to some of the... Because we'll see poltergeist-like activity, we'll see spirit activity, even some demonic activity, reported on the ranch. But is it some of these atrocities that created, at least from a more paranormal, specifically related to hauntings and presence, did some of that come from just some of these tragic experiences and events that happened on the land?
Yeah, and this is kind of where our skinwalker, the skinwalkers originate from, is because eventually the Navajo were allowed to return back to their land some years later. But the Ute believed that they did curse them and set the skinwalkers, to curse the Ute people.
Yep.
And then they said, that they were plagued by the skinwalkers. So that's kind of how our skinwalkers play into this story here.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this in the Mothman episode. That was a Native American curse.
The Mothman, Stanley Hotel as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So we see it. And I hate to say...
There's a lot of correlations as we go through these stories. I'm seeing more and more similarities between a lot of them.
Yeah, I never want to generalize or stereotype a people, but back in the day, a Native American tribe or an indigenous tribe cursing land, I think that was a pretty common practice.
Yeah, and I don't think it's a negative thing.
Well, cursing the land is definitely not positive.
I mean to say that that's a stereotype. They're very, very spiritual people.
Right.
So it's it's, I totally believe that they would fully believe what they were doing, and
Yeah.
Clearly, all the other Native Americans were very spiritual as well. So it's, when you believe something that hard, it's.
Oh, definitely.
Mhm.
Like I think like practicing magic
Yeah.
was just like a part of the culture.
Yeah,
Like I don't think it was
absolutely.
always a negative thing.
No.
I think it was part of the culture. It was the way they lived life. But
Mhm.
unfortunately, with that, if you're practicing magic for good,
Right.
there are going to be those that are practicing magic for bad.
Right. Or just, the balance of good and evil.
Evil. For all my Mermaid Man fans out there.
Yeah. So in 1905, the land was homesteaded by the Myers family, and they lived on the property until 1987.
Yeah, welcome to our first modern settlement on the ranch.
Mm-hmm. But it said that the Myers family never reported any strange activity while they lived there.
That is interesting because
Yeah.
that is a long time
That
to
is a
live
long
on.
time.
That's what, 80, you said 1905 to 87?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's 82 years.
Yeah, and I'm sure that's like multiple generations as well.
Oh, sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they never reported any strange activity. However, when our next family moves in 1994, that would be Terry and Gwen Sherman with their 2 children.
Yes, the Shermans.
Mhm. They move their livestock onto the farm as well. It's a cattle ranch. It's still a cattle ranch to this day.
Yeah, they got a fresh start in the Uinta Basin. They are moving on to the ranch,
Mhm.
and they're gonna raise some cattle. They're gonna live a life out, a simple life out on the ranch.
Yeah. So why we're so skeptical that the Myers family never reported any activity,
Right.
that doesn't mean they didn't experience anything.
Sure.
Because the Shermans were shocked to find when they moved to the property that the house had deadbolt locks on all of the doors and windows, not only on the outside of the house, but the inside of the house as well. And some of the
Whoa.
doors on the inside of the house had locks on both the outside and inside of the doors. And so did the cabinets in the kitchen. All had
Whoa.
locks on them.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That is not something that
No.
you do.
Yeah.
That is not normal behavior.
Right.
Yeah, I heard like closets and pantries.
Every single door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why in the world would I need to get into a closet and deadbolt myself inside?
Yeah. Or why would you feel the need to like lock up at night or
Yeah.
at all?
Every
ever?
kitchen cabinet, I mean that is so freaky.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to explain,
Yeah.
and it could be a number of things. Were you finding a way to barricade yourself in? Were you finding a way to barricade something out?
Right.
Were you locking up cabinets and things like that because of like poltergeist like activity,
Right.
ghost
Just
activity,
banging, opening, slamming.
yeah, slamming cabinets, pulling things out of cabinets, knocking
Mhm.
things over. Like, what were you preventing?
Yeah. It's not a normal thing people
Absolutely
do.
not. If I walked into a house, the fact that the Shermans, I mean, unless they bought it sight unseen and then walked in and were like,
I
"Oh,
think they
this
might
is
have.
weird," yeah, because like if you and I are out shopping for a home and I walk into a house and there are deadbolts on the outside and inside of all of the interior doors,
Yeah.
yeah,
I don't know, something weird happened there or
we
is
are
happening.
we
there.
are leaving, not even considering.
Yeah. No, that's bad juju.
We'll ask them if we can come back and investigate, but please no thank you. We would not like to buy.
Yes.
Yeah.
So not only did they find all those locks on the doors, but they did see like on both ends of the house, like multiple sets of like chains staked into the ground. So it looked like there might have been guard dogs or something
Oh, sure.
chained up outside.
Yeah. Okay. Not that weird.
Yeah.
Definitely
Yeah,
noteworthy,
back in the
but
day,
like, yeah, exactly. Right. I mean, like, how often? And I'm not saying it's great dog ownership. And if you're on like a big ranch, like, and you have
I'm
like,
sure that they
if you
live
have
outside.
right, if you have working dogs though, like, I just wouldn't like. Why would you chain them up? You have all
I
that
think
property.
that was probably a pretty common practice back in the day that the dogs just lived outside.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
probably
yeah.
chained them up at night so they don't wander off.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, the property had been unoccupied for a number of years, so they had some renovating to do
Sure.
on the property. So, they're renovating the house. During the renovation process is when Terry finds his first crop circle.
Oh.
Yeah, so he finds perfectly symmetrical circles like pressed into the tall grass in one of the fields.
That has to be the most unsettling feeling to stumble across them, because like he's
Mm-hmm.
just out, he's doing whatever like labor or chores he's doing, he's walking through the grass, and then all of a sudden he's like, weird, it's like pressed down right here, and then he like kind of looks around and is like,
Mm-hmm.
what in the world am I looking at?
Yeah. And that ends up being kind of a common occurrence on the ranch is the crop circles. And then I think I saw reports that they even saw like circles that were like the dirt was pressed into the ground. It wasn't like
Oh,
in the grass. Yeah.
weird.
Right.
That's super
That is
freaky.
weird.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That
I've
gives
actually
me
I've
more
actually
like
never heard of
ship
that.
landing.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Like
yeah.
a dust kick up.
Right.
Yeah. I've never heard of that. That's
Mm-hmm.
super. I've only ever heard of crop circles like field of
Yeah.
corn, tall grass, things like
Mm-hmm.
that. To be pressed into the dirt is
Yeah.
like, it feels so permanent.
Yeah. And that just like heavier.
Yeah.
Like that's at least like a crop circle they've been able to like replicate to try and like debunk,
Yeah.
you know, like saying that like a person could go out and do this. It is
Right.
possible.
Right.
But to do
Right.
that into the dirt,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I think too with like the crop circles, it's like, did the ship land, or did like the downward force of like the like wind or whatever it
Mm-hmm.
is, like from the ship like hovering low, like press it down? But like, yeah, like an impression in the soil makes me feel like it landed.
Yeah. Me too.
Ugh. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So one of their first days on the property, the Shermans saw a large wolf-like creature that approached one of their livestock pens. Yeah.
Ooh.
So they see this wolf and it like sticks its face in between the bars of the pen
Yeah.
and it like grabs onto the snout of one of the cattle and is trying to like pull it through the bars. So Terry comes out and he's shooting this wolf at point blank range and it just does nothing.
What?
Yeah.
And I believe they said like the 357 Magnum.
Mm-hmm.
That's like, you know, when you look at that bullet hole, like if you ever shot a target with like a 357,
Mm-hmm.
you're looking at like a hole that's like the size of a nickel.
Yeah.
So if you're shooting something at point blank range, like, I don't know if you're killing a giant wolf. I mean, probably that would be my guess, but
Mhm.
like definitely not unfazed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
You're at least like getting a yelp. You're at
Right.
least putting it down,
Yeah,
you know,
there was-
momentarily.
Yeah, no blood, no signs of like injury from the shots. And the wolf just, you know, like stood there and looked at him and then just dropped the calf and ran off.
No thanks.
Mm-hmm.
No
was-
thanks.
Yeah, he was able to see the tracks and he followed them for like about a mile
Yeah.
until they just vanished.
No.
Mhm.
Were there human tracks right afterwards?
I don't think so. I think there were no tracks.
That I don't know which is better.
Yeah,
I don't know, like if I'm like, oh, it shapeshifted, or oh, it disappeared.
gone.
Yeah, like,
right.
That's super freaky.
Mm-hmm.
is going across your face when you shoot that thing, and then absolutely nothing happens?
I have no idea.
I have no idea. I'm pumping.
Run.
I'm pumping rounds. I'm
Yeah.
like, if one bullet didn't do it, maybe two will.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
no, that's super freaky. He had
Mhm.
to be terrified. He had to be freaked out.
Yeah. So by spring 1995, their reservations are renovations. Reservations. Their renovations are complete and they move into their ranch house.
Okay.
So one day, Terry goes into the field to check on a cow that's giving birth.
Mhm.
And he sees a strange light out in the field.
Ooh.
As he gets closer, he sees a huge object floating about 50 feet above the ground. And that was the first time that he saw a UFO on the
no
ranch.
way.
Mhm.
Was he alone?
Mm-hmm. Completely silent.
What?
Yeah. And not long after was when his wife, Gwen, experienced her first UFO sighting on the ranch as well.
No way.
Yeah, so she saw one at nighttime, and the lights coming down from the UFO were so bright, it was shining down on like the mountainside and the pasture below.
Like the mesa.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you would have thought that it was daytime. Like the lights were so bright.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Honestly, though, thank God she saw it, because like if I'm Terry, I can't be crazy.
Mm-mm.
Like I can't be like I'm not the only one. Like the second she's like I saw one, I'd be like, oh, okay, still bad news,
Mhm.
but thank goodness.
Yeah. You know what was funny was I read something that said like just the area, it's not like just specifically Skinwalker Ranch, like the whole entire area has had like UFO sightings.
Oh yeah, it's a hotbed.
It's such a hotbed that it said by the 1970s, like the cops just stopped like filing the reports that they were getting of UFOs
So who
because they
knows
were
how
just
many there've actually
coming
been?
in so frequently. They just,
Whoa,
yeah,
that's crazy.
yeah.
That's insane to just overlook that. I
Hmm.
mean, I know the
Not
world
even
is,
overlooked. There was just so many coming in all of the time. They
yeah, but to
just,
not file them is
yeah.
like, I get there's like skeptics and
Hmm.
non-believers out there in the world, but like you gotta document that, man. People are saying they're seeing it. It's
No, I
like,
don't think it was like because they didn't believe. I just think it was because there was such a sheer volume. They just couldn't like keep up on it.
yeah,
Hmm.
maybe.
I don't
Do
know.
your job. Document the UFO
We need to
sightings.
know all of them.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, so
It's like when I was reading about the like that Bell UFO sighting that we were
yeah.
talking about in Pennsylvania earlier. There was like I was reading an article on it, and they were talking about like how often NASA will just be like, those files are gone. We can't find them. They went
Right.
somewhere. Someone must have. I think they were talking about like the Apollo 11
Oh
or
my
like
God.
launch, and they were just like someone recorded over the tapes. It's like, how?
Okay.
You work for NASA.
Yeah. First of all, don't believe it.
Yeah.
Second of all,
First of all, not true.
right.
Second of all, liar.
Sorry, if a rocket scientist can't figure out how to use a VCR, then that's your
I don't
problem.
trust you to build my rocket.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we shouldn't have.
Yeah. 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 It's a great point. That's a great point. I can't argue that.
Yeah. All right, so the Shermans have seen any and every kind of UFO that you've ever heard of, that you could think of, and probably that you've never heard of before.
Oh man, I believe it.
Yeah. So they're seeing UFOs all the time. So they're seeing box-shaped UFOs, 40-foot long UFOs, UFOs that was so large it was longer than several football fields put together.
What are we talking about? We're talking about a I don't know what is with all the Star Wars reference tonight, but are we talking about like a Star Destroyer?
Yeah,
Like,
literally.
that's insane.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane.
Right?
The Armada is coming.
Mm-hmm. They saw a ship that they were actually able to see shadowy figures standing inside of it.
Stop
And
it.
from where they were standing, they figured that they had to be at least like 7 feet tall.
Stop it.
Yeah. So they've seen UFOs that emitted wavy red beams, one that just looked like a circular orange door floating in the air.
Was that a UFO or is that just like a dimension
A
door?
portal, yeah,
Or like a
portal
Stargate?
door, maybe.
Yeah. Like is
Mhm.
the theory of almost like an intergalactic like hyperhighway like a real thing where like a portal just
Uh,
opens to like a light speed
We'll
like dimension
kind of
door?
talk about that a little bit later, but
Dimension
it's
door. I'm
not
making
out of the
Star
realm.
Wars and D&D references tonight. I don't know what is with me.
I mean, they had to be based off something, right?
That's true. That's very true.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So another UFO they saw looked like multiple discs, and when they disappeared, it looked like there was just holes carved out in the sky.
Oh,
Yeah.
what? You know, we'll talk about theories
Yeah.
like down the road, but there's a lot of talk about like the veil is very thin there, and
Yeah.
whether it's the spiritual veil or if it's like an interdimensional veil.
Right.
We talk a lot about like kind of like some of the UFO sightings almost looking like glitchy,
Mm-hmm.
and like
Other things as well. So,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll get into
yeah,
it.
yeah, 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 yeah.
But talking back on the like portals, so the Sherman family also claimed to see a hole that opened up in the sky. And when they said when they looked into the hole, they could see another time of day or another place entirely.
No.
Even one time it was like they looked in the sky was bright orange. So it's like it didn't necessarily look like Earth.
Yeah. Now, do you think something like that is more interdimensional, or do you think it's more extraterrestrial?
I think that the both
Yeah.
can be true at the same time.
Yeah, that's a really good point. It
Because
feels so interdimensional to me.
but can UFOs travel interdimensionally? I think that's the whole thing. It's like
Yeah,
how
yeah,
can they
yeah.
get here? They're traveling
And
interdimensionally.
especially like the last thing you just talked about with like the multiple discs and then like almost like they carved
Yeah.
holes in the sky. Are they just opening like an interdimensional portal? And
It gets better. So the Shermans have seen sometimes when like a portal opens up in the sky, they've seen a UFO fly like out of the hole, yeah, from one sky to another.
no.
Yeah.
I've mentioned this on the
Mhm.
show before that I think in a situation that stressful that I might be a fear puker, and I'm vomiting if I see that.
Yeah.
I don't think my body would be able to contain it.
Yeah, I just like, how does your mind comprehend that?
First things first, I envision because like how often are we outside with Lily? We're on the swing, we're playing in the backyard, and we're kind of just like looking up at the sky and we'll be like, oh, what do you think that cloud looks like? Or oh, look, like there's a plane or a helicopter. Like if we're looking up and I'm like, is that a rip in space time
Yeah.
up there? And then if that isn't enough to blow my brain out of the back of my head, there is now a craft flying through it from what seemingly could be another world, dimension, or galaxy. Like
Yeah.
I'm throwing up, I think.
know.
Yeah.
And but that does make me think though, like about the Myers, because if you think about the Shermans, it's like they're experiencing this in the 90s.
Yeah.
Excuse you, sir. um
Everybody welcome Jake to the show.
Oh yeah, our first guest.
Yeah.
Jakey boy.
Yeah, that's Jake. He's our little old man, crusty white dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, we love him.
Yeah. He's extra crusty today.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I mean, relatively modern day, like we know what UFOs are. Star Wars has been out. There was, big science fiction boom like in the 70s, 80s. Like,
Yeah.
these are not foreign concepts. I mean, seeing it in real life is for sure. But like the Myers in 1905, like you don't know what a UFO is.
Yeah, like
You know
sometimes
what
I think
mean?
about like the
There's no context.
Right.
Like, what are you seeing?
well, the concept, you ever have like that, you're just like sitting with buddies and like you're talking about like, could you imagine just like going back in time with an iPhone?
Yeah.
It's, I feel like in 1905 they move on to the ranch and then the sky opens up and a spaceship flies through. Like I could just like a Avengers Endgame, you just disintegrate. You just like your body and your brain has no idea what to do with what it's seeing, and you just dissolve into dust and float away. Like I mean that's a very silly like a representation of how mind blown you'd be, but I mean I think it would be just like I feel like back then it could just break your brain.
Yeah, exactly. It's like no wonder why they wouldn't have said anything. Like,
Yeah, it's you make such a good point because it's like if there is like so they're the first people out there homesteading their ranch. I don't know that there's necessarily anyone around.
right.
Like I don't know if like the Shermans end up having like neighbors. Like I mean not like suburbia go knock on the neighbor, what are you doing tonight kind of. But
Yeah.
like there were other ranches around and
Right.
things like that. Like there was a community.
Right.
I don't know that there was when the Myers were, at least not in the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So like they were probably alone.
Mhm.
So that leads to like did they not tell anyone or was there just no one to tell?
Right.
Were they truly just alone experiencing chaos
Yeah.
or did nothing happen?
Mhm.
I'm not even going to go there. The deadbolts tell me something happened.
Oh, yeah.
The deadbolts tell the story.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think so.
You didn't do that unless you're hiding from skinwalkers in your house. Yeah.
For sure. Or just, yeah, like I said, UFO, you have no idea what that is. So you're just like,
That's
I don't
true.
know, batten down the hatches.
Yeah, that's a very rational response. Like, I just saw something that I fully can't understand. And based off of the Sherman's reports of activity, potentially like I can't stop seeing stuff I don't understand. So like we're just gonna make this place a fortified shelter.
Yeah, for sure. So they also would hear voices as well.
Yeah, so this starts to lead into more of like a haunting type activity.
Yeah, because they do experience some of those types of things too.
Yeah.
But one of the instances that Terry heard voices was when he saw a UFO like flying out of one of these portals in the sky.
Oh, no way.
He started to hear male voices, and his dog started like barking uncontrollably.
What?
And it sounded like they were speaking a language that he didn't recognize. And he heard the voices multiple times, but sometimes they would be speaking in English, and sometimes they would be like narrating what like people were doing.
Oh, like almost like dictating.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, the common thought with visits from extraterrestrial life is that they would be here to study
and observe.
Observe.
So like what if they're, I mean, you see like
could it literally be
time,
dictation
people with like their tape recorders and that are doing experiments or whatever, and they're taking notes.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes me think of
Terry's in the field today with the dogs.
It always just makes me think of The Watch, when they like figure out that there's aliens there wearing human skins.
Yeah.
And he's in Costco watching everybody, and he's like, what is this orange circle fruit?
Yeah.
Maybe I'll put it in my flavor snout. Underrated movie. We got to rewatch that soon.
Right. Terry's putting the orange
into his flavor snout.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Day 5 of Terry stuffing his face with this weird circle fruit.
Be like, all right, guys.
I can hear you, and that's rude.
Yeah. Terry should really stop eating right now.
Terry seems unable to control himself. I don't know that all this is making it in. All right. But
Okay.
that is so unsettling. Again, I just go back to the fact Terry must think he's going insane.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely think it helps that his wife has now like corroborated like what he thought. Like, it's a shared experience.
Right. They're all seeing them, and they're seeing them all the time.
Yeah, we don't hear a lot about like the kids, which I mean, it could have just been like Terry.
I think it's purposeful. Like, I don't think their names or anything are out there.
Yeah.
I think there's also speculation that like
Terry
and Gwen
are
Sherman
not their real
not
names.
their real names.
Yeah, I've heard that.
I mean, they've done like interviews, and they've been very open because like as soon as they moved out, like off the ranch, they did like an interview with a paper or something, some sort of news outlet.
Yeah.
They were never like shy about what was happening. I just don't know that their identities are necessarily.
Sure, I mean, you want to protect your kids too,
Yeah.
especially like what we know about Skinwalker Ranch. Like they're still investigating it. They're still constantly poking at evidence. They're still talking people from the past, looking at the present.
Right, and maybe even the government doesn't want them like. I don't know. Their real identities out there. I'm sure they've documented all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but other nights they would see dozens of UFOs flying over the fields, and sometimes they said like when you would look at the lights, you would just get an overwhelming feeling of dread.
Ugh.
And it seemed like events like this would happen around like a new moon or nights when like the moonlight was like super low, so it was very dark.
Yeah. High visibility, low light pollution.
Yeah, cloudy nights, stormy nights, things like that.
Oh, that's so ominous.
Yeah.
But does a cloudy, stormy night help shelter the view of an interdimensional portal?
Right.
Is it very intentional?
Yeah. So one stormy night,
Ooh.
Terry and his son saw a UFO, and it quickly flew out of sight. The two of them walked around like a rock ridge to try and find the UFO, and they did, and they found it hovering right above the ground. And this is the closest that they'd ever actually gotten to one. So they started to like wave to try and get the attention of like whatever was inside.
Like you're seeing like your neighbor in the parking lot of the grocery store, like, hey! Yay!
And they said when they did that, the ship flashed its lights on and off 3 times
No,
and then
I
flew
hate
out of
that.
sight.
I hate that.
But they felt like the way that it was flashing its lights, they were almost trying to like communicate with them.
Like an acknowledgement.
Yeah.
Like we see you.
Right.
Hey, yeah.
Yep.
Friendly or not friendly, I feel like
Mhm.
I hate that.
Yeah.
I think I dislike like I almost like if I'm them, I want to be
Mhm.
not seen. I want to observe and not be observed.
Right?
Yeah.
So, in addition to all of the UFO sightings, there was a lot of strange animal sightings as well, and not just our big wolf friend there.
Okay.
They've also claimed to see like exotic birds on the property that they had
Strange.
never seen before.
I don't think Utah tends to have a large exotic bird
No, I
population.
think they have like vultures.
Yeah, I'd say that's a fair assessment.
Things of that nature that are just preying on
Yeah.
whatever. And so in addition to the exotic birds is Terry one time found a large hyena-like creature
Ooh.
attacking one of his horses. It appeared to be like about 200 pounds. It had curly red hair and a big bushy tail, and it was super muscular, but like almost like muscular like a man. Like that kind of like
Oh.
physique, I guess.
Yeah.
And when he approached it, it just disappeared right before his eyes.
Whoa.
Yeah. And when he went to check out his horse, it had like scratch marks all up and down his legs.
No way.
Mm-hmm. And eventually, Terry went to talk to one of his neighbors, to see, kind of like feel him out, see if they've been seeing anything weird. And the neighbor said that he had also seen that same beast on his property as well.
No way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it corroborates what you saw though, which is
Right.
scary.
Yeah.
I honestly, in like Terry's position, I don't know if I'd rather be crazy.
Right.
Like it's almost like
it might just not be real.
right, like you go over to your neighbor and you're like, I mean, I don't know, but like I feel like I saw like this crazy, strange, like hyena beast and like
Mhm.
just like long red curly hair kind of thing, and the guy's like, yeah, saw that the other day. You'd be like, oh,
Yeah.
great.
Yikes.
I was hoping you hadn't.
Mhm. Yeah. They've also seen glimpses of other things like running around their property or like what appears to be like the same animal, but almost
Yeah.
looks different every time that they like catch a glimpse of it.
Yeah, and like you said, like
Yeah.
acting strangely, like stuff like running on its hind legs that
Yeah.
shouldn't be, and
Mm-hmm.
oh, that's so weird.
Yeah. And then allegedly they watched a person come in contact with the beast.
Oh,
Yeah. So this is going to be another one of our would may lead to our like interdimensional or like dimensional bleed type of situation
okay.
here. Okay. So this is what I call the meditating man story.
Ooh.
Yeah. So one day the Shermans looked out and they saw a man who just appeared to be meditating in their field with his eyes closed.
Yeah.
Very bizarre.
Yeah. Why are you on the property?
Right.
Like this isn't just like a communal
Mhm.
space for you
Right.
to meditate.
Right. It's not like a town. Like we said, it's a 500-acre ranch. Like,
Right. What are you doing here?
Right. Clearly not one of the neighbors because they would know
Yep.
them. So they see this man sitting in the field meditating. And then they see the beast walking towards him. But when they see the beast, it's like every step is like, you see the beast, you don't. You see the beast, you don't. He's like flashing in and out, like glitching almost.
Whoa.
Yep. So he approaches the man and then he stands right in front of him and they hear like roar like a lion. And then they said the man just opens his eyes and like ran away.
What?
Like ran for his life.
That is such a strange
So
series of
bizarre.
events. Yeah.
Yeah.
What in the world?
Mm-hmm.
And they have no idea who the man is.
No.
Oh,
Right. So
how
that's
weird.
kind of one of the speculations of like the interdimensional, like was he really there
Right.
in their time?
Right.
was he from there to, yeah. So
Yeah,
like how did he
yeah,
get there?
was he a temporary visitor?
Right.
Was he like a walk-in?
Right. Was he somewhere else and things are just
Right.
bleeding together?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, I think like that's I think primarily like a New England term for potential like time travelers or like interdimensional travelers
Hmm.
are walk-ins, and it, like
Yeah.
kind of like someone who just like appears temporarily from another dimension or like
Hmm.
kind of steps into your time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it sounds like it could be something very similar to that.
Hmm. Yeah. Yep. Right. So we talked about that the Shermans were raising cattle on their farm. It
Ooh,
was a
yeah.
cattle ranch.
Yeah, sure.
So, another thing that's very common with UFO
Yes,
sightings
I
is
do.
cattle mutilation.
Yes, it is.
Yes. So they started having cattle disappear or turn up dead on their property. And it
Not
started,
just dead. They show up dead, but their blood is completely drained.
yep.
They are often skinned, like their pelt is gone.
Hmm. They have like
Holes,
holes in them.
yeah, holes
Yeah.
appear on their body, which
Yep.
I always assume is some type of like, for lack of a better term, like blood vacuum.
Yeah.
Something along those
Hmm.
lines. I don't know, but like, it is such a weird occurrence, and like cattle mutilation is very, very real. Like
Hmm.
this is not like
And it's
just
still
like
occurring on the ranch today. Yeah.
totally.
I think we saw it on one of the episodes
Oh
of
yeah,
Skinwalker Ranch. Yeah.
absolutely. But like not even just concentrated to Skinwalker Ranch.
No. Yeah.
Like it is like I don't know if it's a worldwide phenomenon, but definitely like across the United States,
Hmm.
it is reported all over the place. I think like when I listened to like that long conversation with Brandon Fugel, he said like over like tens of thousands of them reported and potentially like to 100,000 not reported.
Hmm.
It which is a crazy number.
Yeah.
Even if we assume that that's wrong and just like the tens of thousands that are reported, that's a crazy number.
Hmm.
And no one has ever been caught. They have
Yeah.
never caught someone, even like an amateur attempt. They have never caught someone in the
Mhm.
act of a cattle mutilation. They have no explanation at all for how
No.
these things happen.
And it's so bizarre too because it's like, why cattle? Like, there's farms that raise all types of animals. Like, we have, cattle, sheep, horses. Like, none of the pigs, like, none of these other farm animals are seemingly turning up. Like,
Does cattle specify cows?
yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. I did thought cattle was just like kind of like a universal term for like farm or like pasture roaming
Oh,
animals.
no, it's specifically cows.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
Learned something new today.
Yeah. Right. So it's like, why just cattle?
I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
they're just easy targets.
Maybe. Do they need them for something? I don't know.
My guess would be like my guess, because like they are as directly correlated to UFO sightings
Mhm.
as potential like it is said like if a UFO is spotted, the odds of a cattle mutilation happening are like
Mhm.
significantly increased based off of like the data of like UFO reports
Mhm.
and sighting reports and reported cattle mutilations.
Mhm.
Like that is a very correlated
Yeah.
statistic that's out there.
Mhm.
So my best guess would be just like biologic research. Like again, we talk about like what do we understand as potentially like the purpose of visitation from extraterrestrials or
Mhm.
whatever would be flying a UFO or a UAP. It is to understand and to research and to gain intel.
Yeah.
And I just wonder, is it like biologic research? Like are they taking them
Mhm.
or like
Are they cloning them?
cloning
Who
them, or are
knows?
they just like taking samples
Yeah.
and then going back and like studying blood, studying
Mhm.
DNA, like just understanding as much as they can.
Mhm.
And like if they are an intelligent species and assuming like potentially more advanced and more intelligent, are they just looking at like risk factor and saying like if we start taking people and doing that kind of testing, like we're
Right, to the
going
point where they're returning them dead.
right, we're gonna draw a lot of eyeballs,
Right.
but like cattle
Right.
is something that people are like, yeah, it's weird.
Right. I mean,
You
or
know?
yeah, is it some just kind of like, how they do like cosmetic animal testing? Is it just some kind of like,
Right.
they're just using them as test subjects and returning them
Ooh,
dead?
that I don't like because
Yeah.
I don't want to be cattle mutilated one day.
Yeah. Well, hasn't happened
What are
yet.
you gonna do? Yeah.
Yeah, but the Shermans also started to notice that when they would see a UFO, it would be more likely that there would be some kind of incident with their cattle. The first time that Terry found a cow dead, he found it with a perfect hole in the center of its left eye. And it had a hole that was about 6 inches around and 1 inch deep in its rectum area.
Ew.
Yeah. And it had a weird chemical smell.
Ooh,
Also.
like formaldehyde.
I don't know. It possibly.
Yeah.
But there was no evidence of really, I guess, any cause of death for the cow except for the holes in it. And like you said, no blood or anything like that
Yeah.
left. No
That is
blood
so
in the cow
weird.
or like around on the ground.
And that's like a lot of the times people are like, oh, well, it could have just been a predator. Absolutely not.
Right. There was no other evidence also of any kind of like attack.
And if it was
Claw marks.
If it was a predator, there'd be
Yeah.
blood everywhere.
They'd also probably eat it. Like it wouldn't just be left there.
So that is a fantastic point. And there are a bunch of weird stories. I think I remember hearing a story about a specific cattle mutilation where they said they brought, I want to say this was on the ranch,
Mm-hmm.
where they brought like a veterinary expert out to like review the body
Mhm.
and like get as much data as they could as to like what that like animal expert thought might have happened. And they said that the body of the mutilated animal that they found had to be at least like a year old. And it was like, you're
What?
telling me in a year that no predator, vulture, or anything along those lines came by and picked at it?
Or space time is different than Earth time. Was the cow gone for a whole year? What here might have seemed like 5 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it was returned
Was it
back.
returned a year later in Earth time?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Space time is weird.
Well, just the thought that something like that could happen
Yeah.
is so unsettling.
Mm-hmm.
And we talk about like how what is one of the number one reported phenomenons with abduction reports?
Missing time.
Missing time.
Mm-hmm.
That, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I hadn't really thought about it from that lens.
Yeah.
And that gave me goosebumps.
Right. Well, if you think about it, it's like if they're abducting you or abducting like a cow or whatever, they're not just like doing the testing right there. Like when people say that they remember
Sure.
getting abducted, like they remember being on the ship. So it's like they, taking them on the ship, they're traveling wherever through the portal, which is who knows like how many years time this correlates to wherever they're traveling to. Then they got to travel back, put you back, or
Yeah.
put the cow back. Who knows how much time has actually passed where that being is
Yeah.
by the time it's come back.
Oh, goodness gracious. That's so strange.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Next, Terry found that cattle started disappearing. Yeah. So
Kind of exactly what we were just talking about.
Yeah. So one time, actually, this was in the snow. So a cow had wandered off, but he was able to see the footsteps. So
Oh,
he
because of the
started,
snow print.
right.
Yeah.
So he started to follow them because he's like, oh, I'll be able to find this cow, like whatever. I'll just follow the footsteps.
Sure.
So he's following the footsteps, and all of a sudden, there's no more footprints in the snow.
Let me guess. There's no more cow in the snow either.
Nope.
Ugh.
The footprints just stop, and there's no cow to
If
be
that's
seen.
not abduction, then just like make it make sense. Then I just like, it's gotta be.
Yeah. So Terry's logical conclusion was that the only thing that could have happened was that the cow was just lifted straight up in the air.
They spin zone theory. They said they saw weird big exotic birds just came in, hooks right into the back of the cow, flew away with a whole cow.
True.
Yeah, not true, but I mean,
Could be
you
true.
never know. You never know.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about some strange stuff on Skinwalker Ranch, but
Yes, but in this specific incident, he noticed that there were broken branches all around the footprints, and the tops of the trees surrounding the area were cut off.
we just talked about this last week.
How weird.
Ugh,
Yeah.
that is so crazy.
Yeah.
I cannot for the life of me. I couldn't do it in Dyatlov. I can't do it now. Explain the broken branches at the top. Explain it. You got one, maybe that's a lightning strike. You got like a couple, maybe you were talking like strong, like hurricane winds or something like that. Like you're out on the mesa, you're out in, like open ranch, like could have been a windstorm.
Like
when you're
dust
talking
storms,
about
right?
like a
Things.
huge like area of like broken tree branches just at the top, I'm like, tell me that that's not a flying craft coming over it.
Yep. And that's not the only time that they saw that either. So this was January 1996. So Terry's son was out in the field with the cows, and just 5 minutes after seeing one of them alive, he found it dead at the edge of the field. And when he found it, there was a hole carved into the rectum area. This one was about 6 inches wide and 18 inches deep.
Oh my goodness.
So this like went inside.
Yeah.
Yep.
Elbow deep.
Yep. And again, there was no blood in or around the cow.
You said this was 5 minutes?
5 minutes.
No
Yeah.
way.
Because I'm sure like they're raising cattle, like they're probably tagged.
Yeah.
Like it's the 90s. Like it's
yeah.
So I would assume he would know like which one it was.
Yeah,
the
90s were not that long ago.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm sure they were tagged. So I'm sure he, wasn't just, this could have been a different cow. Again, it had the weird chemical smell, and again, it was surrounded by broken branches on the ground and the tops of the trees.
5 minutes is insane.
Mm-hmm.
Is there even like, I don't know that anybody's draining the blood out of anything, but like, is there even a device that we have that could accomplish that fast?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. That's like a
so.
full spin zone speculation. Like I couldn't tell you. I have no idea, but it's definitely something to think about. Like 5 minutes is an insane amount of time to complete something like that. That's very freaky.
Yeah.
That's super freaky.
Yeah. And eventually Terry also went to his neighbor about the cattle mutilations because he wanted to know if he's like experienced this before.
Yeah.
Or
and he
whatever.
got a big old yes, didn't he?
Oh yeah. He said he's known about cattle mutilation since he was a kid.
What?
Which to me just further proves also that there's no way that the Myers didn't experience anything on the ranch.
That's a great point that I didn't think about. Like they're obviously like he's saying right now, he's like, I've known about it since I was a kid. So like at the time that the Myers were there, like they had to have been experiencing something similar.
Yep. So what made the Shermans had enough? And this is only May of 1996.
Okay.
So they were only there for like 18-ish months.
Okay.
Before they left. So May 1996, Terry is walking with his dogs out in the field when he sees a glowing blue orb in the distance.
Another UFO.
And the orb was darting back and forth over the field, and he told the dogs to go get it. So they run, and they're chasing after this light. And they chase the light into the brush. He hears, I think he has 3 dogs. He hears 3 yelps.
Oh,
And then nothing.
Jake, plug your ears.
Yeah. Oh, rubbish. So he doesn't go looking for them because it's nighttime.
Yeah.
The next day he goes back out and he goes into the brush, and all he finds is 3 greasy piles of ash.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
Man.
Oh my goodness,
Yeah,
the dogs.
I know. Well, And that's what made them decide
That
to
was
sell
it.
the ranch
They had
and get
enough.
out. Yeah.
I'm surprised it took
Well,
that
I mean,
long.
at what point though? It's like if you're going after the dogs now, it's like what point is it us next?
Yeah.
Like maybe it just seemed like it was escalating, or it's just like you can't live like this.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I was gonna say they made
you
it
know?
so much longer than I would have.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I know. So just like wild.
Yeah,
Wild.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I do want to I do want to point out like something we haven't talked about yet because we talked a lot about like their UFO sightings,
Yeah.
but like they were also hearing like noises in their house
Mm-hmm.
and that's
Objects moving.
yeah,
Disappearing.
objects moving.
Reappearing.
Yeah, so there was a
Mhm.
story I heard um Gwen came home. She had been like, they're out on the ranch. They do
Mhm.
not live close to anything. So she went in to do like a grocery stock
Yeah.
up in town. She buys, what I'm assuming is a week's plus worth of groceries because you're not
Yeah.
going like all the time. She comes home, she unpacks the car, she goes in, she unpacks the groceries. She specifically says like she remembers doing this because like it wasn't like a quick I got a couple things from the market and
Oh,
I got to
yeah,
throw
I'm
them. Like
sure.
it was like a full haul,
Mhm.
had to be unpacked and put away. She puts everything away. She goes in the other room. She comes back out and everything's back out. Everything's back out on the counters.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's poltergeist
Yeah.
activity. Like
Why do you think the Myers had the cabinets locked?
yeah, honestly. But the knocking sounds,
Mhm.
scratching sounds.
Yeah.
Now we do, from when we kind of talked about skinwalkers, like in the beginning, they do knock, they do scratch, they are like
Mhm.
on windows and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So could be skinwalker.
Yeah.
It does sound a lot like a classic haunt. They would hear sounds coming from below the floorboards in the
Mhm.
basement.
Yeah.
Um,
Almost like they would hear rumbling, like
Yeah.
almost like there was a machine
yep.
like running, but they could feel the vibrations.
Yeah, that is so strange. Yeah.
Mhm.
And there's reports of like on the ranch, and I don't know if these were specifically from the Shermans, but there's reports of like shadow figure sightings on the ranch. Now,
Mhm.
if you look at some skinwalker reports, I think that's another gray area too of like, are you seeing a shadow figure or did you see a skinwalker?
Right.
But I do think it's important to note that there was like not only all of this like UFO and potential extraterrestrial activity,
Mhm.
there was all of this like strange beast and
Yeah.
skinwalker like activity, but there was also just a lot of like haunting
Mhm.
esque activity
Yeah.
happening on the property as well, which is like the conversation where we talk about like, is this just like a hotbed
Mhm.
for paranormal and supernatural
Yeah.
events?
Well, we'll talk about it in a little bit when we talk about like all the investigations, but
Yeah.
like there's like super high levels of EMF.
Oh yeah.
Like
Oh
on
yeah.
the ranch, and that is always I think makes for a high conductor of paranormal activity.
Sure.
Also can like affect people. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, talk about that a little bit. So after the Shermans moved out of the ranch, they sold it to Robert Bigelow.
Oh yeah.
Yep, and that was in 1996. He was a real estate investor, billionaire.
Yeah.
He owned the Budget Suites of America hotel chain.
Yeah.
And he also founded Bigelow Aerospace Company.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. And he's just doing billionaire things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like shout out to the Lights Out podcast.
yeah.
I was listening to their episode for
Mhm.
sure, and I think they said he was building like a space hotel.
Yeah, like on the moon.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he's coming up with wasn't
not
it?
no, not on the moon. I think it was at the like one of like the like international space stations.
Oh,
Like
yes.
you
He
could
was
go to
like
the
building,
space station
yeah,
and
like,
there were like hotel rooms, so like you could just go stay in space. Like
right, like that's what he was like working on
That's-
that concept.
that's
yeah.
billionaire activity.
Oh yeah, for
That's like I
for
have
sure.
no idea what to do with my money.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, people would say like, sure, like if you're gonna take an airplane somewhere, that you're risking your life. But if I gotta take a spaceship somewhere, like I know I'm for sure risking my life.
I am
Like, I don't
going
think I'm gonna
on
do that.
record. I am going on record I am not interested in going to space.
Me either.
There has been a lot of talk over the past handful of years that they want to build shuttles for people to be able to like go on a space expedition. I have no interest in going to space.
Like Katy Perry.
Yeah.
Katy Perry went to space. I can go to space.
I will not be going to space.
I will not either.
I'm not saying, I'm not making a comment or commentary about people that are interested in going to space. Like, good for you. Have a great time. Bring me back a postcard.
Yeah.
I'm not going.
No. Someone's got to do it.
Yeah.
It's not me.
It's not me. No. No.
Absolutely not. Does it fascinate me? Yes. I love space. Do I want to be in it? No.
No. I wanna observe it respectfully from a distance.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Robert Bigelow, 1995, he had already founded what is called the National Institute for Discovery Science, or NIDS.
Yeah.
So, and the purpose of this was to bring credibility to the claims of the ranch. I mean, not necessarily like at first, but once he like acquired the ranch,
once he likely had an experience.
Yeah, right. That's what he was doing.
And he's the first one to really start investigating the ranch.
Yep. Yeah. So I think he heard about it because they had done like in like an interview or something, or did a report or whatever. So he was super interested in it. And they stayed at the ranch for 100 days and documented their experiences. And this was just when they're doing like their research. So he had a team, and that was led by Colm Keller. And they even had a journalist with them, George Knapp, as part of their group. So he was kind of documenting some of those experiences as well. I think that's pretty smart, kind of like an unbiased, observer.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Like a control.
Exactly. Things that they experienced were teleportation, telepathy, which I guess if we're thinking about it, was like the voices that the Shermans were hearing. Like, was that actually projecting
injured cold
out in the field? Right. Or was that happening in their head?
Oh, man.
Maybe because,
what a concept.
Like in the Mothman story, he didn't know. Maybe he wouldn't have realized that that wasn't happening if he couldn't see.
He couldn't see the fact that a mouth wasn't moving.
So it's like if there was no beings that...
Was he hearing something he couldn't see? Or once he could see it and realize that it wasn't talking out loud, then he knew he was hearing it in his head.
So it's like, who could say if Terry was actually hearing something that was audible, like outside, or if it was in his head? He might not have known.
That is so crazy to think about.
Yep. So also they experienced, portals into another dimension, distortions in space-time, strange creatures they saw as well, large creatures with red glowing eyes that looked like wolves, but they said they were at least like 3 times the size of a normal wolf.
I don't think like we hear a lot of Skinwalker reports with red glowing eyes, but that sounds to me like they're talking about a Skinwalker.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Glowing.
And we have talked about, like, what is it? It's like nocturnal. I forget what it's called. We talked about it in Mothman, that at night, the reflection of a nocturnal animal's eyes will almost always look red.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I forget what that's called.
Yeah, it's a nocturnal something. I can't think of the name of it, but that's like a phenomenon. So, like, if that's something that, like, it could have, the red eyes could have easily been mistaken if, that they weren't sure what they were looking at.
Right. Yeah, that's very true. They also saw glowing orbs in the sky,
Classic.
Black triangle UFOs, strange apparitions, and they also experienced cattle mutilations as well.
Strange apparitions, more like ghost-like activity.
Right.
Yeah.
And what was weird for them is like the things that they were experiencing that they couldn't prove by science, or at least the science that they knew.
Yeah.
Which I would, I'm sure is like very frustrating for them. It's
Yeah,
just like all these things are happening, but like, how do we do it? Like, they can't just use the scientific method to prove their hypothesis. Like, we're dealing with things that are outside of our knowledge.
And, well, I mean, you can use the scientific method all day long, but I don't think you have the fundamental knowledge base to understand, like, potentially otherworldly technology. And we're not talking about a group of folks with, like, you know, that took AP physics in high school. We're talking about folks that are working, like, on aerospace technology.
Yeah.
You know, they should be probably the most qualified to be able to do this, and they're coming up with nothing.
Right. They should have the most knowledge on what
those are the people
about.
You call when you want to figure something like this out.
So
and he's running, like, he's not all self-funded. He's running like black budget like operations for like the Pentagon
we'll get to that in a little bit. Because he does start doing that. That's not until like the early 2000s.
Okay.
But they weren't just investigating for those like 100 days. They, in 1999, they set up a 24-hour hotline for people to report UFO sightings. And they received thousands of reports.
And guess what? Local police from that were throwing out in UFO claims, they researched every single one of them.
They did. Yep. And I mean, of course, some were due to what do you call it, like reporting bias.
Yeah.
So, you know, or it could be explained.
Confirmation bias.
Confirmation bias. Yep. Or it could be explained by regular space events like meteors or shooting stars.
Sure.
You know, people seeing that and
but debunking helps you organize your evidence.
Right. So either that or military events. They were able to like line up and maybe disprove some of these claims, but others, not. So I mean, and they were looking at everything with a skeptical lens. I mean, they're scientists.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
I think that's incredibly helpful.
Yeah.
Like, you don't always want the person who wants it that bad to be the one investigating, because are they looking objectively at the situation? Like, you want someone with a skeptical lens that says, like, I'm going to do everything I can to find a reason why it's not supernatural or paranormal or otherworldly. And then when I can't, then we have our answer.
But I think it's also important too to have those people that are able to say, I tried everything I could and I still can't explain it. Other than, you know, people that would do that and say, but no, it's not that. I can't explain it, but it's not that. You know, to like be open enough to say, like, I can't
open-minded,
explain it.
skeptical, but open-minded.
Exactly.
It's a very important distinction. Yep.
Yeah, for sure. So they were able to disprove some of these claims. Others, they were not. One of their hypotheses was that some of the anomalies they witnessed didn't come from aliens, but a storm that caused a wrinkle in another dimension and opened up a brief window either to the past or future.
Whoa.
I know. I thought that was very Stranger Things.
100%.
Like the upside down, like to a T.
Like is it like season 4, like at the end where like all the townspeople are seeing, like, you know, like the red lightning, and all of a sudden, like, you know, the two worlds are blending together. It sounds like exactly that.
So other phenomenon they experienced, they just couldn't explain. And after NIDS ended around 2004, Bigelow wasn't done researching. The Bigelow Aerospace Company was given a $22 million contract by the U.S. Department of Defense.
Sure were.
Yep. Through the Advanced Aerospace Identification Program to conduct research on UFOs and unexplained phenomenon on Skinwalker Ranch and the surrounding areas.
Yes, they wanted to know what was going on that ranch.
Yes. By 2011, they did run out of funding, and they sold the ranch in 2016.
To an
So,
unnamed buyer.
yes, but I will tell you, so when they bought the ranch from the Shermans, they bought it for $200,000.
$200,000.
Which I understand that that's like 1996 money and that's not the same as today, but I mean, we're talking about a 500-acre farm.
A potentially interdimensional death trap.
Yeah, but still, like,
Mhm.
the land is valuable. Who know, the cattle may or may not have been. I would assume the cattle would have stayed because, like, it's still a cattle ranch, and none of the people that own the ranch since then are
Sure.
farmers. So, I mean, you're getting
There's still
land
cattle
and cattle.
there like today.
Yeah.
Like they like, like the people that like own the ranch and
Mm-hmm.
like conduct all like the research like they're not cattle farming by day, but there's like a caretaker
Yeah.
that
Mm-hmm.
cattle farms. So yeah, I would assume the cattle went with it. My point being is I don't know how many buyers were rolling up and like knocking on the door
Oh, well,
to.
my point was to say that he bought it for 200,000 and sold
Oh,
it
he
for
sold it for
4.5
he
million.
sold it for a BAG.
Oh, yeah.
He wasn't out of funding anymore.
I mean, he's a real estate tycoon, so.
Yeah, yeah. Which one? The one that sold it or the one that bought it? Yeah.
Yeah, so we had a buyer and he remained unnamed until 2020.
Yes.
And that was Brandon Fugel.
Yes.
And another real estate investor, tech investor, big science fiction fan.
Yep.
And fascinated by technology and physics.
Yeah, Brandon Fugel's a fascinating guy.
Mhm.
I listened, like I've said a couple of times tonight, like I listened to like a real long form conversation, like about 4 hours long on the Sean Ryan show.
Yeah.
And just like they covered a lot on Skinwalker Ranch, but they also just cover Brandon Fugel's life and just like a fascinating guy, very very fascinated by like the world of business from the time he was a young
Mhm.
man. Like, I mean, we're talking like 12 or 13 years old. He was in commercial real estate at
Mhm.
18.
Smart.
He's a very faith-driven individual. He did a
Mhm.
mission in Hawaii where he actually met some of the team members he still works with on
Yeah.
Skinwalker Ranch
Mhm.
today. He's a pretty fascinating guy. And it's very interesting to kind of listen to a lot of the things about his life. But one of the things that I will say and like I respect heavily about Brandon Fugel is he is, and you made the point just about like who you need to be if you're going to be researching this. He looks at everything through a skeptical lens. He wants to prove it with science, but when he cannot, he is open-minded enough to accept what those alternatives might be. And I
Mhm.
think it's just so important that, especially an area as famously of a paranormal hotbed as Skinwalker Ranch, like that's who we want
Yeah.
investigating. And he also he has not taken a dime of profit
Right.
from any of it, from the show, any of that. They take almost all of the money, and what they don't put back into the ranch just to further research, they
Yeah.
donate it to charity.
Yeah.
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 I mean,
That's incredible.
like I said, like he is wealthy beyond wealthy, and like I think there's like a lot of misnomer out there that like he like came from money, and
Yeah.
like based off of what I have heard and like his own account, like his own testimony, but like that is not true,
Mhm.
and that he was just like very successful in commercial real estate. He made some good investments, and like call it what you will, he doesn't need the money from Skinwalker Ranch, but that doesn't mean that he doesn't have a right to take it, and he's just opting to do something
For
much
sure.
better with
Yeah.
it. So no, I think that's really
Mhm.
really
It's
cool.
refreshing.
It is
Because you
yeah.
just see a lot of people. It's like, well, how did they get to where they are?
Yeah. Right.
Because, they're, they do the work, they take the money.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, like you said, he has every right to do it, but yeah, it's
Yeah.
incredible that, they donate to charities and can pour everything back into the ranch.
Right. And like that's what he's doing. All the money, if it's not going to charity, it's just going back into research.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Brandon Fugel, like here's a great Brandon Fugel story. So Brandon Fugel was, I don't know that I'd go as far to say like a non-believer, but a heavy skeptic. And he bought the ranch, and for 6 months he did not experience anything.
Mm-hmm.
He had been there a bunch. I think he was doing some research. Now, Robert Bigelow kind of like told him some of the things about the ranch, some of the stories about the ranch,
Mhm.
but almost like in an ominous air was like, I just want you to like experience it.
Right. Like he didn't give him any
He didn't give
like
him
of
any
the
files or
research or
anything like that.
findings. Yeah.
And from Brandon's own words, part of that was that Robert Bigelow was part of like a black budget, government operation to study the ranch, was funded
Well,
by the
right. I'm
government.
sure there's
So
NDAs and all that.
yeah,
They couldn't.
but some of it was not.
Mhm.
And I think Robert Bigelow just made the decision, which Brandon respected.
Mhm.
That was like he was not going to share that information.
Yeah.
So Brandon goes out. 6 months, they're starting to poke around. They beef up security. They reinforce the homesteads,
Mhm.
and they start to develop what is modern day Skinwalker Ranch.
Mhm.
But he gets a call, and a retired doctor from Area 51 says that it is like one of my like top bucket list items. Like I want to come see the
Mhm.
ranch. And he's like, yeah, sure. But, I got to tell you, I've owned it for 6 months. I've spent a fair amount of time out there. I have not seen, witnessed, felt
Mhm.
anything. So I want you to come. I want to show it to you. I want to share it with you. I want you to see it.
Yeah.
What I don't want is you to come with the expectation that you're going to like witness some phenomenon. We'll have a
Right.
great day. We'll go
Mhm.
around, but you just want to level set expectations.
Like it's been dead around here. Like there's nothing going on.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and I think at this point, Brandon's like really kind of just like, nah, I don't know what all these quacks are talking about, but like, okay.
Right.
So they line up a date. The doctor comes out. They are working around the ranch, and like kind of getting like things ready. Now, Brandon's brothers are helicopter pilots.
Mhm.
So he flies them all out to the ranch, and the brothers end up saying, like, after some time passes, that they have like an incredibly uneasy feeling. They don't like being at the ranch, and they actually are like, we'll fly the chopper back, and when you guys are ready, shoot a call and we'll come pick you up.
Yeah.
And that's a foreboding sign right there. Like that's kind of weird. And especially for Brandon, he's like known these guys his whole life. And he's
Yeah.
like, what the hell? Okay.
Right. Or he's like been there too, and I was like, well, I don't feel that.
Yeah.
Like,
So they go back, and he's there with everyone, and
mhm.
they're walking around, and there's a bunch of them that are like, hey, we want to hike up the mesa. And Brandon's like, okay, like go for it,
Mhm.
but he stays back and he says, like, tech investor, real estate investor, like these guys don't really take time off. So while he's out there for the day doing whatever, he's like, I'm gonna go check my voicemails. You guys like go ahead up. And after a little time passes, he hears like one of his guys, not one of the
Mhm.
guests, but like one
Yeah.
of his guys, like shouting for him. And he's like, you got to get up here. So Brandon, like in his words, like in his like dress slacks and like
Yeah.
dress shoes, is like running up
Oh
the
yeah.
mesa.
He's like wearing like Prada.
Armani.
Armani. Yeah.
He, I will say, like he's like a pretty down to earth guy, but he's got
Oh yeah.
expensive taste.
You got the money. Why not?
Yeah, exactly. Can't take it with you. But so they're up on the mesa. They're shouting for him. He
Mhm.
runs up to the top, and the guy's like, "My phone is going nuts." He was
Mhm.
like it was like filming the sky, and like the whole screen was like going purple,
Yeah.
and Brandon kind of just like looks at it and he's like, "Okay, like show it to me," and then nothing was happening. He's like,
Yeah.
"It's not doing anything now." Like, I don't know what to tell you. So they go back down, and they're investigating more. And now I can't remember like if they were still at Homestead 1 or if they were out at Homestead 2,
Mhm.
but the guy's phone starts freaking out again, and this time Brandon like knows like, hey, like I was too slow last time. So he
Mhm.
like rushes over and look, and he sees it,
Yeah.
and he sees the phone freaking out. I was like, hey, that's weird. So that happens. They go around, they do some more traveling, some weird stuff is happening. I think they go to Homestead too, which is like more like kind of like almost like seems like a little ghost town. Like, you know, it's like a couple of shelters.
Yeah.
And they get out there, and all the while they've had like these couple of security guards with them, and this one dude's like, I think he said used to be like a captain in the California Hells Angels,
Yeah.
and like he's like big, like 6'5" guy, like
Mm-hmm.
and they go in, and they're all kind of wandering around and looking around, and Brandon starts like, and this is kind of like that, like veils thin kind of thing.
Yeah.
He's like, it sounds like there's like cups over his ears, like he's like
Yes. Yep.
underwater. And when he comes out of the building, they were like looking for the 6'5" security guard because they were in a group and they were like,
Mm-hmm.
where is this guy? And you're not missing a
Yeah,
big 6'5"
sure.
biker,
Right.
you know,
How'd
like
we lose him?
yeah. So they go back out. They were rolling around in like a UTV, and he's just like standing
Mm-hmm.
outside of it. And when Brandon comes up to him, the guy like just like comes out of a fugue state and is like
Right.
how much time has passed?
Yeah.
Like he knows nothing.
Right.
He's got no
It
idea.
was like 10 minutes,
Missing
right? He was just
time.
like standing there.
Yep, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just like all kind of like weird stuff's going on.
Mhm.
This is the first time Brandon's really experienced anything.
Mm-hmm.
They're ripping back in the UTVs. They just said like, let's go back, let's get out of here. They're ripping back in the UTVs, and they hear shouting. So like Brandon's driving one.
Yeah.
He hears shouting from behind him. It's the other guy in the UTV, and he's pointing up. They stop. They look up. There is a UFO in the sky, and they all see it.
Yeah.
And one of the guys that was with them was like a scientist buddy of Brandon's, and he was like with it enough and intuitive enough in the moment to be like, nobody talk to each other about what you've seen. We're going to go back, and I want to take individual testimony from everybody. And they went back. They didn't share. He took individual testimonies from everybody, and their story was identical. All four of them saw the exact same thing.
Yeah.
So 6 months go by. He doesn't see anything. He brings out this doctor from Area 51 who's like freshly like not there anymore. And what happens? But they see an anomaly.
Yeah.
And something they've said on the show is that the ranch like almost like reacts differently to visitors.
Mm-hmm.
Like when they bring new people to the ranch, it often drums up activity.
Yeah. Because what I did read about, not necessarily this like group that's investigating, but like the NIDS was like a lot of things would happen like when their equipment wasn't ready.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
So, yeah.
yeah. But I thought that was like you know,
Yeah.
I that story I found so fascinating. I'm like, what a way to immediately become a believer.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what happened. I
Yeah.
think like immediately he was like, I'm all in on understanding what's happening here. And I think some of the stories that I've heard now have a little bit more. I'm taking them a little more seriously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that security guard too, didn't he end up going to the hospital because he got
He
like
did.
super sick and they just didn't know like
Yeah,
what was wrong with
they had
him?
no idea what was
Right
wrong with
after
him.
that.
Yeah, he checked himself into the hospital, and he was there for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then they had another guy too, Thomas Winterton. I think
Yeah.
is his last name.
He's
was
on the show. He's
Yeah.
one of their crew. He does a lot of digging on the ranch.
Yeah, so I think this initial like incident that happened to him, he was there with the NIDS crew and then was also there with this current
Yeah, a
crew,
handful
so-
of people from Bigelow's team
Yeah.
stayed on and to transition to Brandon's team afterwards.
Yeah, so I think his initial like injury, we'll call it, happened when he was with the NIDS crew. So he was there to like build roads and stuff to the ranch.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he experienced a weird injury where he got swelling in his scalp
Yeah.
to the point where it started to separate from his skull.
Yeah.
And then when they were like back filming Skinwalker Ranch, he started to have symptoms again that
Yeah.
he felt when he had that like initial injury, and he had to like get off the property because he was like very afraid that he was like having the same
Yes.
type
So
of injury.
he is one of the primary reasons that they have the rule of no digging on the ranch.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, they end up, finding
Kind of,
ways to do it, and
yeah.
they start digging. But to your point, when he was on the NIDS team, so when Robert sells the ranch to Brandon, one of his things he advises him is like, don't dig on the ranch. And that is actually due to the story of Thomas. Like,
Right.
that happened when he was part of NIDS.
Yeah.
And then when he came over, before he was re-injured at Brandon's team, they had a strict, like, no digging policy on the ranch.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're saying, like, there are such dangerous, like, levels of, like, electromagnetic, like, fields and radiation that it's possible that, like, something like that, like, could happen from those levels. And I guess especially if you were digging, like, maybe you just uncovered, like, a source, or like started to uncover a source, and maybe there was just like a large surge, and
the Shermans constantly reported like that rumbling sound from underground sounded like machinery under there.
Yeah.
And obviously there's something going on at the ranch. I think there's a lot of thought that there's something buried in the mesa.
Yeah, I think they've used like the ground penetrating radar and kind of gotten like anomalies where it almost looks like there's a large like cavern or like something underground. Yeah.
You never know. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean they've done like numerous investigations around the mesa with the ground penetrating radar.
Yeah, they've done LiDAR.
Yeah, the LiDAR, which is light detection and ranging. They have done drilling. They've done the helicopters, which I think the helicopters experienced like some technical difficulties when they were flying around.
They don't do a ton with the helicopters anymore because they'll often send like those like mini rockets up to gather data. And they never go well. And I think their thought is like, we're not sending unpiloted drones. We're sending like a piloted helicopter. And like, we're just not going to risk somebody like that because they've had like such like flight trouble.
Yeah.
But yeah, even like you hear like Brandon's brothers talk when they fly people out to the ranch. They're like, we don't fly near the mesa. Like, we'll get you close so you can look at it, but we don't fly over it.
Yeah. Another thing that I thought was interesting, and that might ring a little bell here.
Ooh.
So they started frequently receiving a recurring radio frequency signal. And this was around 1.6 gigahertz, but they would receive this during experiments.
Huh.
That reminded me of
very
the
Montauk
project.
Yeah, very Montauk.
And they were never able to identify the source of the frequency.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. Just get Preston out there.
Yeah. Maybe
probably
Preston
find
was
it for
there.
you.
Yeah, maybe Preston was there. I didn't read his other books.
Right.
Yeah.
Who else is ripping holes in the sky?
Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know. Where are you at, Nichols?
Yeah, but I mean, other things that they reported during their investigation,
like
was,
GPS and tech failure is a big one. Yeah.
You know, typical batteries draining, cameras dying, malfunctions with the Wi-Fi, GPS, like you said.
Yep.
Unexplained metallic reflections.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that might be some kind of like UFO-ish activity. But...
A big one too is just like acute medical episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like what happens to Thomas kind of happening seemingly out of nowhere once they started like messing with the sky. And then what happened to that like 6'5" like biker? Like he kind of blacks out, missing time, and then is hospitalized for an extended period of time. People feeling like just like an overwhelming like sense of like panic or anxiety to the point where like his brothers, like the helicopter pilots, left and were like, we don't want to be here. Like we like strong enough to fly. You know how expensive it is to get a helicopter off the ground. Strong enough, not saying that Brandon can't afford it, but strong enough to like fly a helicopter back and say like, we'll come get you when you're done. Like so like there's something so strange going on out there. And I think that's not a secret. Like, you know, I think it's very well established. I think the show has brought it into like pop culture. It's one of the I think it is the most Googled place. I don't know if it's in the world, but definitely in the US. Yeah, it's fascinating to think
I
about.
know.
But there's like, and truly, just like it's that hotbed of like everything. Like
Mm-hmm.
with the Skinwalkers, we have which we talked a lot about UFOs because that's where a lot of like the data is. But
Mm-hmm.
to like a lot of the local people as well, like Skinwalkers are like a very very real threat.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about like real and like the fact that like they're seeing them roaming around and everything, but like a real threat as in like it's something that the people are worried
Right.
about. Like
Right.
it's
They
real to
believe in
them.
it. Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
100%.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, so I guess we can talk about the theories. I don't know that there's really much theories other than if are you a skeptic or are you a
Oh
believer?
no way. I'm a
Yeah,
full-time
I mean,
believer.
is it
Yeah.
just geological anomalies, underground structures, which is totally normal? Um,
I don't know what it is.
yeah.
I don't think I have a stance on what it is. I think what I am confident in is that I think the area, I think the geographic area for whatever reason, which they're still spending millions of dollars
Mm-hmm.
researching,
Yeah.
is for whatever reason is a hotbed for
Yeah.
paranormal. Like, there's a draw.
Mm-hmm.
There's either a draw or that there's like an energy that these things can
Yeah.
feed on, but there is a reason that it is a hotbed.
Mm-hmm.
I do believe that across the U.S. and likely the world. We talked about it when in the news update maybe last week, but the orb pond, it might have been 2 weeks ago, but the orb pond
Mm-hmm.
mystery. That seems to be like a UFO sighting hotspot. We talked about Pennsylvania today,
Mm-hmm.
another like hotspot for like highest activity, the UFO activity reported.
Yeah.
Skinwalker Ranch, notoriously known
Mm-hmm.
for a multitude of
Yeah.
reasons, like ghost and poltergeist like activity, shadow figure sightings, Skinwalker reports, UFO sightings more than could possibly be counted. We
Yeah.
are having people see portals ripped open in the sky, things flying through them, looking through a window into a potentially different dimension or world. Um, you know, I sh- I want to know what differentiates these areas from other areas. But I think there's not a world in which I'm a skeptic. I think I absolutely believe something strange is going on. I think where I'm at is I just don't think we have an idea of what that is yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or why?
I think why might be the better. I think we don't have an idea of why that is
Mm-hmm.
yet. I think you nailed it right there. I don't know that it's a what, but it's a why.
Yeah. Because like the strong electromagnetic is like a big like indicator for me, but it's just like, is everything happening because that's naturally occurring there, or is that occurring there because of things that are happening with like the UFOs and
Gotcha. Is there a
all of
strong
that
electromagnetic
stuff?
field that's
Yeah,
acting as like an energy source for all of these things to like feed off
right. Because
of,
it's like
and
I
that
think
creates the
that
concentration?
right, like I think that can occur naturally. So it's like if you would think like electromagnetic fields can occur naturally, there maybe we can't explain it because like Mother Nature is, very weird and still unmeasured and unexplained in some ways. Is
Right.
it just possible that some places can experience a large like concentration of it or
Sure.
like waves of it or
Yeah.
something like that? So is that like what's attracting or like they're able to use that energy or is that energy being emitted because of all of
Right.
this? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that's a great question, and
Yeah.
I think that's what they're trying to figure out.
Right.
I think
Mm-hmm.
that's really what they're trying to understand is,
Mm-hmm.
I think you were right with why. I think like why is it a hotbed?
Mm-hmm.
What differentiates this land from other land that we see so much activity
Yeah.
here?
Yeah. And another big debate when we talk about Skinwalker Ranch is a lot of people like, is the show like fake and scripted or is
Mm.
it real? And I like that's a big debate that's out there as well.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if it is fake and scripted, it's never going to be admitted by
Yeah.
like the people that are involved in it. But Brandon seemed very earnest in the interview that I listened to.
Right.
That, like,
and I don't know that he would do interviews like that if
it was
all.
it was a big, like, mission point for him. Like, he did not want to be affiliated with the ranch because he was very afraid of what his affiliation with the ranch would do to his professional status and career. He has a reputation that he's built, and he didn't want to tarnish that with people that were like, this guy's like a UFO nut, like what? So he kept it under wraps very purposely for a long time. He was approached regularly by TV networks that wanted to do a show, and he was like, no, I'm not interested. I don't want to do that. And then he eventually agreed to do it. I don't know exactly what those motives were. Obviously it wasn't money, because he's not
well, it could have just been, a network that was going to let him do it under his own terms, and not, maybe something that leaned a little more scripted, or something like that.
It definitely could be. It probably weighed into the decision, but I think my point is he didn't buy the ranch and then go out and market it.
Yeah, right.
So I don't think he has any interest in lying or faking evidence, because like, he's not.
He could have done that right from the get-go when he bought it.
He could have done it right from the get-go, but like just look at the evidence that we have. He was wealthy already. He has not accepted a dime of profit from Skinwalker Ranch the whole time. Like, there's no motive there for him. He could easily say, like, hey, if it's a bad TV show, it's a bad TV show. We just stop making it. Yeah. Like, I'm still going to investigate the ranch. He's funding his team of scientists. Like, to me, it's like, to what gain does he fake things? If he was profiting from the show, I could be like, well, to that gain, he's faking things, because he's, it's making him money and he's taking it home. But like, charitable contributions, and he's putting money back into the research, but like, he also has the money to privately fund that research himself.
Right. So yeah, exactly. Like, what's the motive there?
I don't think there is one. I don't think they're faking things.
Yeah. And I think it's more due to like the nature of, like,
I think just the way people look at paranormal television.
Yeah. Like that, or maybe just like the way that they like seem in the show, or like it seems over like dramatized, or
they're making
like whatever.
It's entertainment at the end of the day.
It's entertainment, but like, my thought too was like, you kind of have to think of like, these are research scientists, like they're not actors.
Yeah.
Like, they're not going to be perfect.
They care about the science.
Right. Like, seems a little like scripted, or like robotic, or
because they're uncomfortable on camera.
Exactly.
It could be a plethora of reasons.
Exactly. So like, I don't necessarily think that's anything to like look too far into.
No, I truly don't believe that they're faking anything. The other thing that leads me to believe that, like, regularly is, and this is like across like a handful of shows, is like, and I'm not saying, like, I like Skinwalker Ranch, and they've definitely found some freaky stuff and documented it on camera. But I don't think there's been any evidence that has been like, knock your socks off, groundbreaking, to where I'm like, I think they might have faked it. It's like, they're like, I don't know, like UFO, like orb sightings, or like weird beams in the sky UFOs, and stuff like that
on the show.
yeah. But it's like, you could look up UFO sightings almost anywhere. The government has released video of UFO. Like, we know that stuff's out there.
Not, I mean,
it's not like a groundbreaking discovery that they're saying.
It's crazy to say, like, that's not special.
Yeah, that is that is a nuts, like, statement. But we're in 2026. Like, UFOs are real.
Yeah, it's like they're not the only ones, like, with UFO videos.
Right. So. Exactly. No, I don't think they would.
Yeah.
I don't think they would.
I agree.
Yeah. We're believers.
I believe.
We're believers. And we want to know if you're a believer. So tell us, what are your thoughts on Skinwalker Ranch? Do you believe that it is the paranormal hotspot that everybody says? Do you think it's just a bunch of wacky nonsense? Tell us about it. So leave those down in the comments. We want to hear your theories. We want to hear your stories if you got them, your opinions, your hot takes. But for today, we want to thank you for tuning in and listening. Do us a favor and throw us a follow on Spotify if you're listening there. I'm I can't tell you how much it helps the show. And drop a comment on the episode. It really helps out a ton. We appreciate everybody for listening, and we enjoy bringing you these stories. So leave your information down in the comments. We love to get into the conversations and the debates talking about this stuff. But for tonight, the next thing you need to do is follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Spotify, YouTube, or anywhere you get your podcasts.
Have you had a paranormal encounter or seen a UFO? We want to know.
So tell us that story and send it on over to the Seance Parlor Pod at gmail.com.
And we may even feature one of your stories in a future episode.
That's all for tonight, folks. The parlor is closed. We'll see you next time.